Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the MundaneMatt Show, and today is April 27th, 2017. I know, we're towards the end of April. May is almost upon us, which means officially the summer movie season kicks off in just a week with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And I don't know about you, but I'm super stoked about that, and I will be talking lots about that with other videos on this channel involving movies, which is under the $3 Theater banner. So if you aren't familiar with those, that's why you're seeing more of those and why this particular series has rebooted itself this week. But before we jump into today's stories, I'd like to say thank you for everyone who has provided feedback on your thoughts on the MundaneMatt Show over the course of the past couple days. I'm still evolving and adapting and trying to build this thing up. And so please keep with the criticisms and the feedback, because it does help me grow as a creator, and it means a lot to me that you guys care enough to comment and watch and all that jazz. But today's first story is definitely one that is bittersweet. It is bittersweet. Anita Sarkeesian posted a message on her website, feministfrequency.com, about the end of tropes v. women in video games, saying, "Well, here we are, folks. I knew this day was coming, but it always seemed so far away. After 5 long years, tropes versus women in video games is over. This is one of the most emotionally complicated projects I've ever created. It has simultaneously been awful and wonderful, and the journey is one that I will almost certainly never forget. One that would never have happened without the incredible and generous support of our nearly 7,000 Kickstarter backers and countless others who encouraged us along the way." Yeah, Anita Sarkeesian finally ending tropes versus women in video games. This is, you guys have to understand, 5 fucking years I've been following this series. 5 years I've been covering Anita, and some might have argued that it was maybe a little bit on the obsessive side. I disagree. I usually don't say anything about her until she says something, mostly because she is 100% full of shit. This has been proven time and time and time again. The fact that, yes, she made $160,000 almost off of her initial Kickstarter run to produce 5 episodes, which then put themselves into 12 episodes with an estimated completion date of like August 2012. This is the end of April 2017, nearly 5 years from the original estimated completion date, and it's finally over. Now, here's the thing with Anita. She lied her ass off with this series multiple times. It's been proven time and time again, right? In the very first episode, it was proven that she went to long play channels on YouTube, ripped footage, and then used it in her series without providing credit to neither the game creator nor the channel of which she so blatantly ripped off. She's never once referenced that, never once commented on that, never once acknowledged that her team, i.e. Jonathan McIntosh, did it. But not only that, when it came time to critique Hitman Absolution in terms of how Agent 47 handles strippers in one of the missions, she made it appear that the game rewarded you for killing women, which is not true at all. It penalized you for killing women. The score on the screen itself essentially proved it, but yet she continued with the narrative time and time again. Anita is one of the biggest con artists that gaming has seen, and I'm not going to lie, I have a certain level of respect for her in regards to that. I've always said that you should treat Anita with the respect she deserves as being one of the best internet supervillains of all time. She's been able to come in, wield bullshit, spin it into gold, and make, oh dear God, lots of money along the way. Lots and lots and lots of money along the way. And when she realized that gaming was done with her because no one gave a shit, she jumped over into talking about women throughout history, with videos that were under 6 minutes long that could have easily been ripped from their Wikipedia pages, many of which were, as were proven by people who watched and then went to the Wikipedia page and found very similar lines of dialogue from both. This, of course, is a series she raised $200,000 on, and yet no one watched it. right? A general shitposting video from this channel will get more views than those videos did from Anita, because her base, her damsel base, is in gaming. But now she's officially left that behind. She's done. And these are her final words, saying, "It's a bittersweet moment, bidding farewell to the series. It's definitely time for it to be over. Time for Feminist Frequency as an organization and for me personally to move on. But I keep thinking about all the ways that the world of video games has changed since that day, almost 5 years ago, when I first took my modest little Kickstarter live. It hasn't all been for the better, but some of it definitely has. There are conversations happening now amongst players and among creators that weren't happening before about who games are for, parentheses, everyone, my parentheses, as if that's ever been up for debate, ever, about what impact they can have and what they can tell us about humanity, empathy, race, gender, sexuality, the world we live in, and the world we want to create for ourselves." I.e., Anita's last comments on tropes v. women in video games is like her original comments on it. It's bullshit. It's a way for her to toot her own horn, pat herself on the back for a half-decade job poorly done. She goes on in this particular blog post to talk a little bit about the length of the project and how some of her more strident backers were upset at her because it took forever to get the videos done. It took forever to research things, go to the fans originally and ask them to provide examples of tropes, go to other long play channels, rip off the footage directly, to misconstrue or misconstruct arguments in order to further the agenda. And even when called out with undeniable proof of that, I'm going to discontinue blocking everyone who disagrees with me and shutting down comments on my videos and hiding myself away in my little echo chamber, i.e. a tower. Because Anita Sarkeesian damseled herself to the point of absolute infamy. And it's not over. Oh, it's far from over. Anita will never not be criticized. But here's the thing. All of it would go away if she would just acknowledge that criticism exists. Acknowledge that that people have a point, or maybe admit she made a mistake. And she's never done that. And it's a very carefully crafted reason as to why. But now we know that her 501c3 nonprofit organization has engaged in political activity outside of the purview of that 501c3 classification. And she's now trying to cover her ass a little bit with that regard. So we'll wait to see if they break the law. And if they break the law, you better believe people will be watching and reporting. And I'm not trying to say that I want to see Anita destroyed. I actually don't. If I'm being perfectly honest here, I would love nothing more than to sit down with her and have a drink, have a beer, have a conversation, get to know Anita the person. Because all we've ever seen is Anita the product. Right? It's a product of her own making, but it's a product nonetheless. There's not a lot of humanity with her, and it has nothing to do with her gender. Everything to do with her as a person. She's hidden herself away for a half decade, trying to claim that people on the internet said mean things to her, and then she went to the UN trying to get them to step up and stop it. That is the person Anita Sarkeesian is. Not an educator, not a feminist, but a whiner, a complainer, and one who has done it so effectively that she has grossed so much fucking money in the process. And that, if that's not a fucking competent supervillain of the internet, then I don't know what the fuck is. But jumping over here to this story, we got a little bit of a prank gone wrong to an extent, where fake fitness experts are now being sued for pranking a local news station. The owner of a Wisconsin TV station is not too happy about a couple of pranksters named Joe Pickett and Nick Pruer, who appeared on WEAU TV's morning show, Hello Wisconsin, as a couple of exercise motivators and exercise gurus named Chop and Steele. Right, I love the name. They're fake strongmen duo whose stunts included karate chopping modestly sized sticks, which were fantastic. Even the point when the guy goes, "Oh no, that one's too big," they drop it down and they get a smaller stick. Stomping on baskets, that was weird. Even the reporter, when they were stomping on baskets, was saying "nice, nice," and whacking each other with tennis rackets. And that actually happened. It's in the video. I'm going to link in the article. You guys can see it. It's hysterical. This made it up there. And so basically the Atlanta-based Gray Television that owns the network has said in their lawsuit that they are suing the two men, that the two men, they own a found footage festival, and somehow they're also suing all of New York somehow. Now here's how this whole thing came to be, and this is where it gets kind of crazy. Prickett and Brewer were able to get on the air by just emailing the Hello Wisconsin anchors. They claimed to be on a Give Strength Thanks for Strengths tour that addressed bullying and asked for help promoting it. And of course, because in the, these kind of morning shows, their bread and butter are those kind of feel-good stories, to be honest with you. You wait for the murder and mayhem at the 11 o'clock news. But the morning shows are meant to brighten the day, so this seemed like a pretty good idea. And who doesn't have a hometown news morning show that doesn't do this kind of dumb shit? And the thing is, though, is that in the email, Prickett and Brewer had told the anchors that they had appeared on America's Got Talent, Steve Harvey, and were featured as entertainers at Disneyland's 60th anniversary. And here's what Brewer said as a response to this. He says, if they had done their due diligence, I feel like this is a responsibility of a news organization. They would have known this was a goof, but they didn't, and that's how it worked. There was no ill will about any of this. The joke is kind of on us. We are the ones being jerks on TV, which is true. They were cringy as hell, but and the news anchors were trying to play along because that's their job. But the news anchors felt like they were really kind of believing what the guys were saying, which is sad in its own right, just hilariously sad. But then also the duo is now being, and this is kind of what they're being sued for. They're being accused of fraud, copyright infringement, and conspiracy to commit wrongful activity. Right? Right? Copyright infringement, fraud, and conspiracy to commit a wrongful activity. Fraud, I can understand. Copyright infringement? I don't quite understand that one. And then conspiracy to commit a wrongful activity. Embarrassing someone isn't necessarily a crime. They said, though, that they're going to fight it because they're well within their rights, and they want to definitely win this case. And I think they will. It's not their fault. They emailed the prank. The news organization didn't do any research, didn't do a simple Google search, didn't do anything, just gave them a few minutes on a morning show and then got egg on their face, and they're super pissed off that it fucking happened. And that, honest to God, is their fault. It is not the fault of the people involved in that whatsoever. Those pranksters, yeah, they did their thing, but ultimately the news organization Hello Wisconsin has fucking egg on its face, and it should serve as a reminder to anyone in the future. If someone emails you about this kind of shit, a 2-second Google search might save you a lot of trouble in the long run. But jumping over into an interesting story that's kind of reminiscent as to of what's been going on lately with airlines, you've got a man kicked off a Delta flight because he had to pee. Yeah, I'm a little taken aback by this myself. So essentially, you have got Kima Hamilton, who is currently the guy on the left side of the picture up here. He is he was kicked off of a Delta flight because he got up to go and use the bathroom. Now, this isn't like the flight was in midair. This wasn't like the seatbelt lights were on. The flight was actually in line to take off. It had been taxied to the runway. It was third in line. This dude had to go, and they had been delayed for almost 2 hours on the tarmac when he was flying from Atlanta to Milwaukee. This happened about 9 days ago now. And so they were sitting there 2 hours. They finally got to the tarmac. Then they got extended out another half hour, and he had to go. So he got up to go to the restroom, and the plane wasn't taking off. It wasn't moving, and he was stopped by a flight attendant, sent back to his seat. And then he sat back down, and then he was like, oh man, this hurts too much. It hurts too much. It hurts too much. And then he rushed to the bathroom and he used it. And then when he came out of the bathroom, the pilot came on the loudspeaker and said, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but we have to return to the gate and remove a passenger. Right? So the plane wasn't moving. They've been there for a couple hours. This guy had to piss. Gets up, uses the restroom. No harm, no foul. Then he's going to get booted off the fucking flight. So when he got back to the gate, he was approached by 2 Delta agents who told him to gather his belongings and disembark. And he says he refused at first. It was already understood and decided that I was a problem and I was getting kicked off the plane. When I exited, there were FBI agents waiting for me with Delta personnel. And now he did go on to say that his calm demeanor is likely what saved him from being arrested. Now that's kind of the difference of what happened with Dr. Dow on the United flight, is Dr. Dow refused repeatedly until the authorities were called to come in, and then the situation escalated. This man, was like, okay, well, I'm going to stay calm and then I won't get arrested and everything else, which is generally the idea you want to have when it comes to dealing with the authorities. That's my take on it, at least. And so then he was told that essentially he couldn't do what he did, that was enough to kick him off the flight. And so then he was also told that his luggage was flown to Milwaukee. And then he had to buy himself a flight on a competing airline, which was 3 times the cost of what he had been partially refunded for his ticket. Delta refunded part of his ticket and then cost him 3 times the amount of what he was refunded in order to buy a flight home via Southwest. But his luggage was on the flight and he would get it when he got back to Milwaukee. And now Delta stepped up to defend themselves by saying, our flight crews are extensively trained to ensure the safety and security of all customers. It is imperative that the passengers comply with crew instructions during all phases of flight, especially at critical points of takeoff and landing. Now, listen, I understand. I understand what Delta is saying here. I get it. All right. But at the same time, this is a different situation than Dr. Dow. This isn't an overbooked flight, which, by the way, United just announced that if you are on an overbooked flight, they can offer you up to $10,000. Right. So the key is fly United and hope that you get asked to fucking depart and then, negotiate for $10,000. So at least then you get something, even if it's in-flight money. Shit. That will get you flights all around the fucking world. And right now is the time to do it because their PR is dead. But the idea here, though, is that there are laws that do need to be maintained. And the flight crews are trained extensively to ensure the safety and security. What this man did, well, I don't view it as a problem. I don't view it as a disruption or nothing. They should have let him use the restroom. But at the same time, it's one of those situations, too, where they don't know. Right. And delays on planes happen, and that makes people very agitated. That makes people very uncomfortable, and that can just make tempers rise. What this dude did by staying calm probably worked out well for him in the long run. As I said, that should be usually the best course of action when dealing with the authorities. But it's good to see that this story is getting some attention. Hopefully, Delta will do right by him and refund all of his ticket cost, as well as all of what he had to pay through Southwest. But at the same time, they probably don't have to, simply because he did violate protocol and procedure by, leaving his seat and using the restroom while the flight was on the tarmac. It could have been seen as a safety issue. I don't agree with it, but that's probably like the Occam's razor of the situation. But I do want to know your guys' thoughts on that, so let me know about that in the comments. But what we've got right now, and this is really interesting, is the Boondock Saints. The Boondock Saints are back, right? Now, normally this would be something I would hold for $3 Theater and talk about that there. However, it's not a TV show. This is a movie. All right, this is a movie, not a TV show. No, wait, sorry. This is a TV show, not a movie. If I could fucking talk. So Boondock Saints, which came out in 1999, was a Blockbuster exclusive rental for a while. We got cult status with all the bros from colleges renting the movie. They did a sequel back in 2009, All Saints Day. Not as good as the first one, but still serviceable. And it's kind of just been dead ever since. But now Troy Duffy is back trying to create a Boondock Saints Origins TV series that will serve as a prequel series to the franchise. Now, here's what Troy Duffy is trying to do. Troy Duffy is trying to bank and seriously capitalize on whatever fanboy mentality there is surrounding the Boondock Saints. So what they're doing is they're selling this it's a box. It's a box here. Look at this. It's a collector's box. It's a limited edition collector's box that's going to run for $597.77. Now, they claim that when it all comes out and everything's all said and done, this collector's box will run for $797.77, and that this thing is a numbered box. It's got a DVD and USB flash drive, digital download of season 1 of the show, commemorative production booklet, limited edition signature pennies, baseball hat, sticker set, wall decal, temporary tattoo sheet, bandana buff patches, cold weather beanie, 9-inch Lady Justice polyresin statuette, Lady Justice bottle opener, shot glass bar set, flask, official and alternate image posters ×2, metal cross keychain, motorcycle club cute patch set, Fun Shapes ice cube tray, well then, Griffin Irish whiskey tumbler set, rosary beads, 2018 wall calendar for 13 months, playing card deck, and Brothers 8-inch action statuettes, 2 pieces. Okay, so you get a fair amount in there. And here's the thing. I fucking know people that would love this box set, right? I have friends in San Diego and elsewhere that are gigantic Boondock Saints fans, or will be fans until the end of time, and will definitely want to support something happening with the franchise. But it moving away from being a movie and jumping over into just being, a TV show without Sean Patrick Flannery or Norman Reedus or Billy Connolly, because let's face it, you're probably not going to get any of those guys, especially Norman Reedus right now. It's very much going to be a hard one to get into. It's impossible that it's possible they might get Billy Connolly, because I don't think he's doing much at the moment in time, and so I could see that being a thing. But that being said, Troy Duffy is a guy who cannot have way too much power. He cannot have way too much popularity. It goes to his fucking head. And if you don't believe me, look up the documentary Overnight. I don't know if it's still on Netflix. It was for a while, but it is a documentary about Troy Duffy basically getting everything he wanted, the Hollywood dream, handed to him on a silver platter. And then his ego and his narcissism took over, and you watch it systematically destroy his career to the point of where the $30 million budget that they had originally wanted for Boondock Saints, after it left Miramax, it basically went down to $13 million, and they did well with the $13 million that they got, don't get me wrong, and I'm sure the movie has grossed more than $13 million in terms of sales. Lord knows I own both films on fucking Blu-ray. But at the same time, it's like he killed his own career, and I don't know if it's ever going to come back, and I don't think this personally is going to do it. But then again, I do happen to like the Boondock Saints. I am curious to see what they do with this. Troy Duffy is a very, very good writer. He's a very gifted writer. I wish him the best of luck with all this. I wish I do. I'll see it when it comes out. We don't know yet who it's going to be with. But hopefully it will be entertaining, and it won't be so self-indulgent that it loses itself. It's very much a black comedy, and I hope that they just keep it grounded as possible, as grounded as possible, because if not, then it's just going to get super cray-cray. But anyway, jumping over to the final story tonight, we've got this Facebook situation where this is just the only image exists of this story, but someone sent this to me yesterday, and I found it to be really funny. So I don't know the person involved in this, but what it was is that they had a photo removed because it didn't follow the Facebook community standards, right? It was a nude woman, by the way. And so we created our standards to help make Facebook a safe place for people to connect with the world around them. This is what they said. Please read the Facebook community standards to learn which kind of posts are allowed on Facebook. If you think your photo shouldn't have been removed, you can reply to this message for more information, and we'll review the photo again. If it doesn't go against our community standards, we'll restore it to Facebook. So the person simply responded back with, she identifies as a man, so technically her nipple should be acceptable on this page. That's all he said, just that one sentence. Facebook responds back with, we'll take another look at the photo and let you know when we have an update. Then they responded back almost immediately with, thanks for your patience. It looks like your photo does follow the community guideline standards, so we're restoring it to Facebook now. We're sorry for the confusion, and we appreciate you asking us to take another look. Feedback like yours will prevent us from this kind of mistake as we work to keep Facebook community safe in the future. Thanks again for your help and understanding. So, okay. Guy posts a photo of a topless chick on Facebook. Facebook comes down and says, no nudity, hide the nipple. Response back is, no, you don't understand. She identifies as a man. So it's a dude. And Facebook, keep in mind, has got like 37 genders right now on their thing. And so they're like, oh, we're sorry. We're not trying to be transphobic. Please don't tell us we're transphobic. And then they just restore it. That's how you do it now. That's how you win. Right? We've joked about this kind of thing happening in real life. You know, having like the trans bathroom bill, you know, like allowing trans people to use whatever bathroom they feel comfortable with. In California, you can do it in like, you know, public schools. Right. And so like there's been like the thing, what if a horny teenager goes into the women's room or something, you know, and just says, no, today I identify as a woman. Who can really judge him on that? Like that's part of it. And that's one of the things that cracks me the fuck up. Is because this has basically been that while that particular idea or angle has only been used, I think once that I can remember off the top of my head, where a man who was identifying as a woman went into a Target locker room and started filming other girls changing, but while being in there claiming that he was trans and everything else, right? That's like the only thing I can think of right now. And it happened in Idaho, and it didn't get a lot of press, so people weren't really freaking out about it. Never mind the fact that trying to discuss anything like that at this point basically kind of like turns into like transphobia, just the claims of transphobia right off the bat, so it's almost not even fucking worth it, to be fair. So you've got that. But then you got this happening on Facebook, right? And it's hysterical. So now you know how to game Facebook as a system. Now you know how to do that. And so the more you know, right? Anyway, that wraps up today's episode of the MundaneMatt Show. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. Thank you very much for listening to the show. Thank you very much for tuning in every day to the channel for the multitude of content I put out there. Be sure to leave your comments below. I'm going to be doing a kind of a recap video this weekend that will be looking at some of the comments from each of the episodes, Monday through Friday, and that will be up either Saturday or Sunday, so be sure to leave comments below, and also share it around if you want to get your friends in on the conversation. Subscribe if you're new. I post new content pretty much every single day. This show, however, Monday through Friday, as I said. And I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and peace out.